From dominating round after round to getting knocked out cold, Kamaru Usman lost his title to Leon Edwards. It was probably the biggest upset of 2022, and if you ask me, Usman won't be making the same mistake twice. If the decision went to the judges, his victory was certain. There was no way that Edwards had any chance of winning at UFC 278, except if he could end the Nigerian nightmare in a submission or a knockout. And that's exactly what Rocky did. Walking into the final round, he knew that it was all or nothing now. It was down on the cards. He had been outstruck, out-wrestled, and completely outmatched by the then reigning champion. So all he could think of was to end the bout on his own terms. And I've got to admit that Edwards managed to pull a rabbit out of his hat with that one. But even if he didn't last that long against the champion as dominant as Usman was a feat in itself. Now, the two men have been set to fight in a rematch at UFC 286 later this month. It's safe to say that Usman would be even better prepared this time around, and he won't allow the same things to happen. Usman was largely dominant in their last outing, but he allowed Edwards a few moments to shine. Let's face it, guys, Rocky won the very first round of the match. He started by landing some leg kicks that made the Nigerian shoot. Edwards even defended against that. He got up easily even when the former champ took him to the canvas and successfully executed his own takedown. He even got on the full mount, which caused Usman to scramble, and in that, he gave up his back to Leon, who then attempted to choke until the bell. The next rounds, though, all belonged to Usman. He was swarming Edwards with strikes and taking him down almost at will. Round 2 and 3 saw that the former champion maintained a lot of control time, maintaining top position on the ground and wearing the Brit out. And this seems to be working quite well, to be fair. Leon looked drained, as if he had no energy left at the end of the third round. I had doubts about whether he'd even be able to survive the championship round, because round 4 ended up being a similar story in the end. I mean, yes, Leon did sneak in a few strikes at the beginning of the round, and was even close to a takedown. But Usman managed to defend against it well, and ended up in control on the ground once again. At this point, it all seemed to be over. Edwards was all but beaten by then. He didn't seem to have it in him to even contest the final round. You could hear his corner telling him to stop feeling sorry for himself, but it didn't seem to have any effect on Rocky at all.
Listen, stop feeling sorry for yourself. Well, come on then. What's wrong with you? You're too down. You gotta pull the out of fire. Stay sure. Come on, Leon, man. You got it.
He still looked completely out of it and wasn't threatening at all. Sure, he did try a couple of shots, but the way he set up that head kick was a thing of beauty. Edwards threw in a couple of light punches to gauge how Usman would react. Then he threw another right, which made the Nigerian nightmare lean his head toward his right, and boom! Headshot. Dead. In the words of the new champ himself, his left leg connected so cleanly with Usman's face that it was instant lights out. And this came with less than a minute remaining in the match. It couldn't have been any bigger than this for Edwards. You could argue that Usman should have taken Rocky to the ground for the final round as well, and maybe he should have done that too. It does make sense for him to control things and finish the fight, which he was clearly winning. But that's the beauty of MMA. One small miscalculation and the greatest champion can fall. The Nigerian nightmare later joked about how he had no idea what had happened and was asking the paramedics about what had happened. Edwards, on the other hand, was overtaken by emotion. Of course, he didn't mean any disrespect toward Usman. He just lost himself a little in the moment. Kamaru, on the other hand, was a perfect gentleman. He congratulated Leon on the win, and it's evident that he harbors no ill will toward his rival. It's a sign of a great champion and role model that they recognize when they're bested. But an immediate rematch made the most sense to the fans as well as the UFC. Given that Usman had 5 consecutive title defenses prior to this and was on a 19-fight winning streak, he deserves another shot at the belt he had held for so long. Having dethroned Tyron Woodley back in 2019,
and new UFC undisputed welterweight champion of the world,
Kamaru went on a rampage in the middleweight division, taking down huge names such as Colby Covington, Jorge Masvidal, and Gilbert Burns. And he has been one of the most dominant fighters the sport has ever seen. But now he must go into enemy territory to win his title back. That's right, guys, the rematch is Rocky's backyard, where he's going to have an obvious advantage against the Nigerian. But to be honest, I still don't see Edwards winning twice in a row. Sure, he managed to surprise Usman with that head kick once, but the former champ isn't going to let that happen again. I expect a more stifling game plan for Kamaru going forward. He dominated Edwards in both of their last matches on the ground with his wrestling. At times, it even looked as if Rocky had no clue as to what to do against the Nigerian nightmare on the ground. But the biggest factor that it'll come down to would be Usman's insane cardio. I mean, Edwards already looked completely spent after only 3 rounds, whereas Kamaru didn't even look out of breath. Obviously, the reigning champion would have prepared for that now, but still, it's unlikely that it'll hold against Usman's pressure. I also feel this time around, Usman would really be out for blood. It may not be personal, but Edwards did taint the Nigerian's almost perfect resume. UFC 286 is going to be huge, because we have another awesome fight on the cards. Justin Gaethje against Rafael Fiziev.
I'm the most exciting fighter that stepped in that cage. I'm gonna blow the roof off of the O2 Arena.
Justin Gaethje is an absolute savage.
He just destroys everything in his path. But Fiziev is for real. This guy.
UFC's lightweight division has also been its most competitive one for a long time. And now a new challenger looks to break into the top 5 and ultimately fight for the title. Gaethje has established himself as one of the top dogs at lightweight. He has challenged for the title a couple of times, but unfortunately has never held the undisputed belt. Fiziev is a rising star right now, one of those fighters everyone has their eyes on at the moment. However it plays out for these two, you'll be in for a treat, as these guys would rather brawl it out on their feet than go to the ground. If Fiziev manages to win, he'll probably earn a higher rank in an already pretty stacked division, and will be one step closer to facing the king of the division. Beneil Dariush started getting all the attention recently and finally landed a match with the #1 contender, Charles Oliveira. Similar could be the case for Fiziev. Islam Makhachev has already beaten Dobrox pretty handily, and Oliveira absolutely tore his way through everyone else. It's pretty clear that some fresh blood was needed to spice things up at lightweight, and it feels as if it's exactly what we're getting. The future still looks pretty bright for the division if you ask me. In any case, UFC 286 is going to be lit. These two fights will both be absolute bangers. And given that it'll be in London, you can expect an amazing crowd to be present. Dana sure is making good on his promise of making this year one of the best in the promotion's history. That's all the reasons why Kamaru isn't losing again to Edwards.